Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, the last weekend before Christmas. Yeah, and you're all settling into what that brings for you. So, first of all, welcome and thank you for joining me. And for those that don't know, my name is Rachel Windchaser. I am a horsewoman, a coach, an author, and have lived and been around horses all my life. And sharing their lives, particularly the Spanish Mustangs that I live with here in Spain, has created a whole new vision, a whole new thought process, layers on layers on layers of how nature and the importance of nature is in the way we approach horses, in the way we approach ourselves, the environment, and just life in general. And it has been a very transformational period for me and something that I love sharing. I love sharing with everybody. So this week we have been exploring ease before effort. And it is something that sounds really simple, but underneath that is some deepness that quietly changes everything once we really start to notice it. And I keep coming back to this because I see the opposite so often. And I understand why. When something feels uncertain, effort becomes our default. And it's not because we're doing anything wrong, but because effort feels active. It feels responsible. It feels like we are helping ourselves, helping the other, whether that be horse or human, as a matter of fact. And right now, this time of year, that reflex gets even stronger. Everything feels extra busy, extra full, extra loud. Even when we are trying to be calm, there is often a background sense of pressure ticking away underneath. And that pressure does not disappear. It doesn't dissipate in a way that we would like it to. And when we walk towards our horses with that, it's not something that trails behind us. It's often something that announces our presence. Most of us, including myself, were taught directly or indirectly that if something is not working, you apply more effort, you try harder, you focus more, you get clearer, you get louder, you make it happen. But horses do not experience effort that way, or in any way that we really think they do. And this is where I want to slow down the conversation, because ease before effort is not about doing less or lowering standards. It is about recognizing what is already happening before we interfere with it. So most horses are already trying long before we give them credit for it. They try internally, they try quietly, they try in moments that do not look impressive. And especially when life feels full, when routines shift and energy is scattered, that quiet try becomes very easy to miss. So we add more effort on top. We add leg, we add pressure, we add insistence, we add correction. And sometimes the body does respond. The movement happens. And on the surface, it looks like progress. But underneath, something tightens. instead of settles. And then we find ourselves wondering why things feel harder than they should. And this is usually where someone says to me, but if I do not apply effort, nothing happens. And that is such a huge misunderstanding. Ease does not mean nothing happens. Ease means the mind has space to organize before the body is asked to respond. Think about how you learn something new. If someone rushes you, repeats the request louder, or corrects you before you understand what is being asked, you might comply, but you will not feel settled. You will not feel confident. You won't feel curious. Understanding will not have landed. And horses are no different. The difference is that they cannot explain where they get lost. They can't allow you that time to understand that they misunderstand. They can only show you through their body. And this is why effort applied too early often interrupts understanding. Ease, true ease, helps you locate the real conversation. So let me give you a very common example. So you're going to go and ask for a transition, and there is a slight hesitation, a pause that lasts just a fraction longer than you expected or wanted. And most people read that as resistance. But often that pause is the mind checking into what is being asked. Is this safe? Do I understand this moment? And if you add more effort right there, especially when you are already feeling pressed for time or energy, you override the question instead of answering it. If you allow just a breath of ease in your own body, the transition often becomes clearer without you doing anything extra. And if it does not, you now know exactly where the confusion lies. That is valuable information. Ease does not avoid effort. It places effort where it can actually help. Another place this shows up a lot is when we are with our young horses or new environments. So people say that they are not doing anything. I need to motivate them. But inside, that horse might already be working really hard, mentally, emotionally, sensory-wise. Ease in that moment is recognizing that engagement can exist before movement. And when you meet that engagement instead of pushing past it, confidence grows faster and with less fallout. So here is something I want to say really clearly for you. Effort has a place. Timing matters. Boundaries matter. Clarity matters. But effort that comes before ease often creates tension that we then spend weeks trying to undo. Effort that comes after ease feels very different. It lands differently. It is received differently. So how do you tell which one you are in? If effort is helping you feel more connected, not less, you're feeling steady within your body and within your mind and within your emotions. Your timing feels spacious and open, allowing the horse to have that time and space to comprehend. The horse feels closer. If effort is getting in the way, things feel rushed. You feel like you are chasing the moment, and the horse starts to feel like a problem instead of a partner. That is your cue. Not to stop, not to quit, but to come back to ease. Ease might mean softening your focus. It might mean lowering the intensity for one repetition. Ease might mean acknowledging a try instead of correcting the outcome. And this is where progress actually becomes enjoyable again. So before we finish, I want to leave you with something simple. This week has been about ease before effort, not as an idea, but as something you can actually feel and work with, especially at this time of year when everything feels fuller, louder, and a little bit more demanding. It is easy to carry that straight into the space with our horses without meaning to. So the invitation is not to do less and not to lower the bar. It is to pause long enough to notice whether effort is supporting, understanding, or replacing it. Because most horses are already offering something before we respond. A thought, a try, a moment of attention. When that gets met with ease, clarity tends to follow. You do not need to fix everything. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to be perfect in every session. One small moment of ease can change the tone of the whole conversation. So over the next few days, if something feels harder than you think it should, ask yourself one quiet question. Where could ease come first here? And it doesn't even have to be about your horses. Like I say, this time of year can be really stressful for most people. It's not about stepping back. It is about stepping into more honesty. How you're feeling in this moment. Is effort eating away and stealing your ease? And before I go, I want to say thank you. Thank you, because this is the last Field Notes Live for this year, and I genuinely appreciate you being part of this group, for listening, for reflecting, and for staying with these conversations. Over the last few months, we have explored so many topics, from feel, awareness, curiosity, the senses, starting with the mind, and now ease before effort. And these were not concepts, but as lived practices. And as we move toward the end of the year, I really would like to invite you to reflect on what stayed with you over the last few months, what shifted, what you tried with your horse, and if questions have come up, or if there is a practice you have been working with and want to talk through, please share it. 2026 is already stacking up as being an incredible year, with so many things that I can't share with you right now, unfortunately. But soon, and it is going to be exciting. I would like to end, though, on giving my book an unashamed plug. It is now available also in Spanish for my Spanish speaking audience. If you have any curiosity about what we have been sharing in the Rewilding Circle, please consider giving this to yourself or to a loved one as the first steps on a journey into a more natural way of being around your horses. The people that have bought it, some of the reviews have been spectacular and heartwarming, and quite frankly, personally, I have been blown away. And this book has been definitely something that has come from ease and not effort over the years that I have been growing into it. So that just leaves me to thank you for walking this year with me. I really appreciate you being here. So until next year, when the lives will resume, take care. Much love to you and to your horses. And please ask the questions in the group, because there may not be any lives to come, but there certainly will be space for questions or reflections to be discussed. And don't forget to do all the things. Subscribe, follow, share. It's a wonderful way to connect. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful